Hi there, I'm Ed Leake, and today we're going to discuss the 4 audiences you should always use in your Facebook ad campaigns. However, before I rattle through the audiences, let's cover off the most important part of any advertising campaign, measuring the results. If you can't measure your marketing, you're burning time and wasting money. That's a fact. I know it might seem like the boring bit, but in all honesty, if you haven't already, get your tracking sorted. Now, when that comes to Facebook, that means implementing your tracking pixel. The pixel is a sliver of code you'll find in your ad manager. Get that installed on every page of your website. So setting up your Facebook conversion pixel and custom audiences are essential to tracking performance. It'll enable you to tap into Facebook's deep targeting capabilities and, perhaps more importantly, leverage the automated, optimized conversion-based bidding. So I guess you could say the pixel has 3 key purposes. One being to track your goals, your conversions. The second to be optimizing your ads against. And thirdly, to build your retargeting audience. So Facebook's ad algorithms are very clever. They go deep and you really want to use them. So when you're optimizing for conversions in particular, having the pixel present on your website enables those algorithms to prioritize showing your ad to the right people that will convert. And that whole process improves over time. And it's automated, as I've said before. So that's the tracking bit done. Let's talk about the audiences. Always start with these 4 audiences. It can be tempting to craft your own audience at the start. You know, the demographic and behavioural targeting is quite compelling and also exciting and interesting to dive into. But for new advertisers in particular, it can be often quite difficult to beat the system. So let's use the tools at our disposal here and start with the following 4 audiences. So number 1 is the obvious choice, your current page fans. It's the obvious starting point. You've earned them, so why not push your stuff to them? Obviously, if you've got a smaller audience at this stage, then ad reach will be limited, but engagement rates should be higher. Secondly is your current customers' 1% lookalike audience. So lookalike audiences are a good way to widen the net on an otherwise small but relevant audience. Facebook looks at around 1,500 data points to build a lookalike audience from your own. That deep data means the bigger your audience, the bigger the starting audience that you upload, the more powerful lookalikes become. Your current customers can be divided up into actual sales, leads that you may have captured, and email subscribers. So depending on your goal, you can split them out and upload them to Facebook, and then you can create a 1% lookalike off the back of those. Thirdly is your website visitors. So this is known as remarketing or retargeting. Essentially showing ads to people who have already visited your website gives you an edge in the attention race. People's news feeds are busy, so if they're familiar with you, these people will be consciously or subconsciously aware of you, therefore they will be biased towards your brand. Of course, be sure to exclude current customers or sales from this list, and you do that by setting up a custom audience of your existing sales, your existing customers, so you can both target a list of people and also exclude a list of people. Fourth on the list is a 1% lookalike of your website visitors. So this extends your remarketing reach even further. So not only do you target people that visited your website, but you can use Facebook's data to find similar people. Again, based on those 1,500 or so data points, behaviour, demographic and all sorts of information, including browsing habits that Facebook has on people. The 1% lookalike of your website visitors is a great audience to create. It works really well. So here's a quick rule of thumb for target audience sizes. You can expand audience sizes in the future, but for now, I'd always advocate starting between 300,000 and 1 million. The exception to this rule is your own page fans, of course, because you may not have 300,000 to 1 million people. Do pay very close attention to your frequency, the number of times that your advert is shown on average to an individual. This is a metric that I discussed in my previous video entitled Cut the Crap, focus on these 3 Facebook ad metrics. So have a look at that. It supports this video nicely. So when it comes to targeting as well, if you've only got 5,000 email addresses to upload, you might think, well, how do I get to 300,000 as a minimum? Well, no problem. You build a lookalike audience from it. So use the 1% rule to build an audience of 300 and something thousand. The same goes for when you only have 10,000 visitors to your website and your retargeting list. No problem, you build a 1% lookalike. They work really well. They grow your audience, your existing user base, literally in the click of a button. Really clever. A quick word on ad images. I know this video is not about campaign structure, it's about audience structure, but again, quick rule of thumb, always test at the very least 3 different images per ad set. So Facebook audiences are very sensitive to imagery. An image will have the biggest impact of all your ads performance, so test them. We try and test a dozen images and see considerable differences in clicks and conversions, even if the advert text and headline remains the same, so images have such an impact. And this is what the final setup looks like with one campaign. This might be an engagement campaign, a conversion-based campaign, a lead gen, whatever it may be. So we have one campaign with 4 ad sets. Each set has its own audience, as described in this video, and its own ads within. To keep things simple, you could use the same ads across all 4 audiences there, all 4 ad sets, as it were, because the campaign has one specific goal. So the assumption being that the ads should all sort of fall into favour with each other. And that's it. The 4 audiences that you should always start with when you're doing your Facebook advertising. So if you've got any questions, please leave a comment below. And now go forth and advertise. And remember, always be measuring, always be testing. Until next time, thanks for listening.